Hey, welcome to Asking for a Friend. This week, we're with Nick Portrey from 4 Degrees Real Estate. Let's just start. Introduce yourself to the internet.
Hello, Internet. I'm Nick Portrey. I am a broker and a special projects manager for 4 Degrees, and I kind of specialize in the investment side of real estate and have lived in Ritzville, grew up in Ritzville, went to Whitworth, and that's where I met the guys who own 4 Degrees, and then moved away to Texas for 10 years, moved back to Seattle, and finally made it back to the right side of the state.
All right, awesome. Welcome back. Okay, so I wanted to have you on because when we met, we talked about just investing in property, and I think I'm just seeing it more and more. Let's just start by people that don't know how you can invest in real estate other than just buying, obviously, your primary.
Yeah, so there's lots of ways you can invest in real estate. The gamut is really what the investor is about, right? So do you want to become a passive investor? Do you want to be an active investor? Do you want to loan money on investing? There's all those kinds of avenues you can get, and many derivations of that throughout. So the question you got to ask yourself, do you want to be active? Do you want to be passive? Okay, so if you want to be active, there's the wholesaling, the flipping, the rental real estate, all those types of things for investors if you want to be active. If you want to be passive, there's some kind of rental real estate is sometimes passive, owning notes, investing through your self-directed IRA. There's all those kinds of different avenues that you can take to get involved in real estate investing. And the way that I love it, and I'm going to promote it real quick, the reason I love it is because it's something tangible. It's not the stock market that you or I know very little about, and it's going to go up and down based on the actions of somebody else. This is based on your actions. That's why I love it.
Nice. So let's kind of talk about, in a sense, obviously you just talked about a ton of different ways people can invest, kind of in a sense, the starter pack. Let's start with flipping. What are kind of the risks involved with flipping, or how does it, I guess start with how it works and then let's talk about the risks.
Yeah, so flipping, right? You would buy a house under market, do some improvements to it, and then put it back on the market and hopefully make a profit in there, right? There's a lot of ways to, maximize your profit, not maximize your profit, how you go into it. I break it down in 2 ways, right? You got to buy it low and you got to sell it high. And the 2 risks involved, in my real opinion, is how you buy it and who your contractor is or how you're getting it repaired, right? So if you buy it at the right price, basically you can do anything with it and hopefully still turn a profit. You've got to know your numbers. You've got to be in on it. I know we had talked about this a little bit earlier, but typically what an investor likes to do is what they call after repair value, 70% of that minus repairs. That's their profit margin, is that 30% in between, right? So that's what the typical by the book investor says to do. Well, every investor is different. Your criteria can be different. Some guys want to make 10 grand. Some guys are happy with 20 grand. Some guys are happy with the 30%. It really depends on what they want, right? But the risks involved are your purchase price, if the market shifts while you're in transition, and your contractor. So purchasing it, having a good real estate agent to help you, and or the way that you find your deals, and then having a good contractor to make sure that you stay on budget, whether that's that's what your scope of work is, and staying on budget.
Is now you mentioned the market doesn't shift. I know there's a lot of people out there that think the market's shifting, and I think the market's overpriced right now for a lot of people, obviously. I would assume, especially in that market where investors are the happiest right now in that lower price market.
Yeah.
How do they work through that when things are just overpriced because there's multiple offers on everything?
So it's good and bad, right? So if you can find off-market deals, you're in great shape. If we can find out off-market deals that come in at a normal, regular price to where you can make that margin, it's great because now you're getting multiple offers on the back end. If you're trying to find a property on multiple offers on the front end, well, then that margin shrinks. So then you've either got to be comfortable with that margin shrinking, or you have to find a different avenue to find your properties.
So let's talk a little bit about the financing for someone who's buying a flip house. How do they pay for it? What are the options they have?
Yeah, so there's a lot of options. Typically, there's 3 main options that I would think that people will go with, right? Either 1, you have enough cash, you pay cash down, and you buy the house cash, you own it outright, and then you go fix it and then turn a profit for it. That kind of hurts your ROI. I'm a leverage guy. I like leveraging things because you just make more ROI off of it, right? So if I have 3 flip houses going versus 1 flip house, I think that that's a better use of my money. So You can buy cash. You can go to a hard money lender. Typically, hard money lenders are, charging points and percentage rates. That money's high, but the thing is that money's cash, right? I don't have to go to a traditional lender and, go through all of their requirements. I'm going to show them the property. It's not based on my credit score. It's based on the property. They're going to say yes or no. We'll do it for this amount, 70% of the after repair value or appraisal price. And then you flip the house, you pay them off their money, and you go from there. So you just have to add that money cost into your total investment so that you know that you're going to be making money at the end. The third way, the way that I prefer and think that like a lot of people don't know exactly how this works, is private money. So you can get private money from your aunt, your uncle, your mom, your dad, your friends, pool it together, anything like that. The way that I've been promoting, I have one myself, is a self-directed IRA. So a lot of people go to, like a traditional job. I used to work for Hyatt. Had a traditional job, got an IRA with them. When I quit working for Hyatt, what am I going to do with that IRA? I either roll it back into the stock market or I roll it into a self-directed IRA. Now I get to control that IRA. So my IRA is lending money to someone who's flipping a house. That's what it's doing right now. And so that person's flipping a house. When he's done flipping the house, he'll send it back to me and I get a percentage rate on it. So for me as a flipper, it's great because I'm not paying the hard money rates, because I get to negotiate that with the person who's the private money lender. So if I have a hiccup, I got to hold it for a month longer, or I'm going to pay it off a little bit early. We'd have that dialogue versus strict guidelines and all those things.
Okay, so let's just talk about the rental side of things. I think that feels like it's more common. I don't know if it is, but
easiest way to get started.
What are the risks involved in just buying rental properties?
Yeah, so risks involved with rental properties kind of come down to two things. I guess it'd be repairs and property management. And when I say property management, I mean who's managing your property and the tenants you're bringing into your property. So rental investing, in my opinion, is the easiest way, one of the best ways to build wealth. And also, holding it as long as you can only increases depreciation, appreciation, but, loan pay down, all those things. But the risks involved are going to be your tenants and your repairs, right? So you either hire a good management company to make sure that they're managing those costs for you and you manage your managers, or you do it yourself and have to deal with the tenants and putting good people in your properties. And then repairs, right? So I was talking about this with somebody yesterday. Well, so let's say you're making $500 a month on cash flow on your rental. Mm-hmm. Well, you have a $2,500 furnace repair. Well, there goes a year's worth of profit, right? So, or a roof goes down, and you got to pay $8,000 for that. So then there goes 3 years worth of profit, right? So those are the risks, right? So you got to know what you're buying, when you're buying it, kind of have those big things ironed out. Or know that you're buying it at such a discount that you can go ahead and hit those as they come, call them capital expenses and things like that, and have reserves. So it's all about like the way that you manage your personal portfolio, having a property manager who can screen tenants and do well with that, and either having a repair staff or doing it yourself, and or having somebody who's skilled in that portion of it, which I'm going to promote 4 degrees here and say that 4 degrees property management, come talk to us if you want it done professionally and have somebody skilled doing the repairs. Perfect.
Now, I know a lot of people think like, so I've thought like all I need to do is just get my mortgage covered. Is that feels like a bad strategy, or no? Like I just want my mortgage covered and then I want to sell it and make the profit via appreciation in 3 or 4 years or 5 years, whatever.
I mean, I'm going to say that that's not a terrible strategy. I don't think it's the best strategy, right? I think that you want to buy something that's going to cash flow over your mortgage from day one, because I'm a cash flow investor, right? A lot of guys in California will buy for appreciation, buy it at a negative cash flow, like, oh, I'm paying, $500 a month on it, but I'm still going to end in the long game because I'm going to sell it for $500,000 more than I paid for it. No offense, Spokane, that's not going to happen here. Right. You might have that appreciation. I always call appreciation the frosting on top of the cake.
Right.
So the best thing about rentals is the depreciation. So basically they're paying for themselves via taxes.
Okay.
Appreciation is, like I said, frosting on the cake, cash flow, and debt pay down. So I come to you, Tony, I say, hey, I need to get a 30-year mortgage on my rental, and you say, okay, Nick, it's gonna be $700. Well, I can rent that place out for $1,000. So now I'm making that $300 spread. I'm paying you your $700, and I'm getting the $300,000. I'm getting the $300 spread. I'm getting that $300 spread every month to cover my costs and be my profit. And then while I'm paying you, or my renter's paying you, that $700 per month, well, guess what? After 15 years, I'm down to, let's say I bought the house for $100,000, I'm down to owing $50,000 on the house. After that 30 years, now I owe zero on the house. Doesn't matter if it appreciated or not, I'm still $100,000 better off, right? In the net. Hopefully over the 20 years, at real estate averages 2 to 3% per year, hopefully it's gonna be worth 150 by the time I go to sell it. So like there's all those like 4 little profit centers in buying rental real estate that you're gaining. I just don't like the last one, appreciation, because I feel like it's a gamble. The other stuff, if you buy for cash flow, everything else is kind of gravy on top.
So I just started thinking about investing, or as a first time investor, what are things I need to think about as I'm getting started?
Yeah, so I think that you would want to think about what kind of investor you want to be. Do I want to be a passive investor? Do I want to be an active investor? What am I trying to get out of real estate? Am I trying to build long-term wealth? Am I trying to build short-term piles of cash that I can turn into long-term wealth? So I think if you want to be active, go for the wholesaling, go for the flipping roles, and just kind of immerse yourself in those meetups, and those, like go to BiggerPockets and join those guys. If you want to be a passive investor, kind of find out what you're doing in your network, talk to some people who maybe are doing rentals right now, talk to a real estate agent, say, hey, this is what I'm, looking at doing. What are you doing? Get your financing straight. Because in my opinion, if you're going to go the rental passive route, if you want to get your financing in order, you're going to be able to make, Spokane houses are going quickly right now. So you're going to be able to make those offers and be able to be solid in what you're going to be able to buy, what you feel comfortable with, what the margin is, all those kind of things. So if you're going to be passive, I'd say get your financing in order. How are you going to finance these properties? Similarly, you got to get your different kind of financing in order if you're going to be active, but you want to kind of like immerse yourself in that kind of arena and see, kind of see who you align with and what kind of area you want to focus on.
And you mentioned BiggerPockets and meetups, and those are kind of all over town.
Yeah. So I'm fairly new. I've been here since August. Been back because I'm from here, but So then I just went to meetup.com, went to BiggerPockets.com, went to some meetups with those guys, and you find the wholesalers, you find the flippers, and kind of find like who's doing what in what arenas, and kind of align with people of your similar strategies.
Awesome. Good to know. Is now a good time to get going on this? Because the market, it's a seller's market. Everything, I feel like it's fair to say that everything's a little overpriced. But we also have the rental market that's vacancies are super low. So is now a good time?
Yeah, so I'm the kind of guy who I think it's a good time to invest in real estate any time of this market cycle, right? So if you're investing on the top of the market cycle, as long as you can find the deal flow that's coming in, that's still going to either be for your passive investor cash flow oriented, or for your active investor, if you can find that deal still below market, well, at the end, when you go to sell, you're going to have these multiple offers, and you're going to be the one capitalizing on that overpriced market.
Right.
Whereas if you're at the bottom of a market, well, you should be still buying for cash flow. Hopefully the deals come a little bit easier as a passive investor, and you might be a little harder to get the financing depending on your certain situation. But and then same with the flips. You're going to be buying those at a deeper discount. You might not be selling them at the multiple offers high end of the market, but if you're still creating those margins, then that's how you make your profit, right? So I think investing in real estate is good at any time.
Awesome. And how would you get started if you had to choose one or the other? Would you buy rentals or flip properties at this point?
Yeah, I'm the kind of guy who kind of takes what comes. So I prefer, and I'm going to kind of promote this strategy here. We haven't really talked about it yet, but I prefer what they call the BRRRR strategy: buy, repair, rent, refinance, repeat, right? So what that is you buy a house, fix it up, put a renter in it. You do that with your private money, your hard money, your cash, whatever. Wait 6 months, come to a lending institution, someone who you trust and know and want to work with, ask them to refinance you out. Right, so now I'm into the house for X amount of money. I come to you and say, hey, Tony, can you give me a mortgage for this amount? You say, you do the due diligence on the house and all that stuff and say, yeah, I can give you 75% of the value. Well, that's what I calculated in my calculations. So my 75% of the value should match up exactly with what you have. Appraiser goes out, appraises it, you give me the loan. So now I have a mortgage for that amount that I've fixed it up. I know what's the good, I know what's the bad. The roof is fixed, the furnace is fixed. So it's going to be a solid rental for me. And I'll make the cash flow off of that. So now I come to you, get the mortgage, my mortgage difference in between what I'm renting it for and what my mortgage is here. And now I'm cash flowing, investing on that. And all my money's out of the deal now.
Beautiful.
I got to go do it again.
That's a good strategy. I hadn't heard that before. Okay, so we always ask, where's your favorite place to grab something to eat or drink in Spokane?
So I live up on the north side. So, and my mom actually lives right off of Monroe here. And North Hill, we went there for St. Patty's Day. They had a great St. Patty's Day going on. And we've been there before for dinner, and they do a good job. And
Yeah, it's really good food.
yeah, good food and a nice atmosphere, and they did a good job with the building. So,
Hey, thanks for joining us. If people need to or want to learn about investing in real estate, how can they find you?
yeah, feel free to call me. My phone number is 206-915-1547. Real estate investing is my passion, so I may chat your ear off. But you can also email me at Nicholas, Nicholas, at 4degrees.com.
And that's just the number 4, right?
Just the number 4, not spelled out.
All right, we'll see you next week on Asking for a Friend.